We took a little break, and Justin and I, Brandon, while you were gone, got into a little Tom Thibodeau discussion. I was on the Pick Side podcast, and I said Thibodeau, not an above average head coach. He's below average. And Justin, like many Knicks fans, will scoff at that. I don't understand why. What is the love for Tibbs?
Are you asking Brandon? Or are you asking me?
I'm asking you.
Okay. So I'll be honest. Part of it is bias at the same time. Before Tibbs got into town, I was looking at a team that was far from competent. I didn't look like we weren't playing basketball. We were a joke. We were a complete joke in the Garden. And then Tibbs came in, turned this thing around, got us into the playoffs. While the playoff series was a disaster, I just feel like Tibbs brings direction. Tibbs brings structure. And I feel like those are things that he deserves some credit for. Well, yes, we were talking about it during the break about him being a poor playoff coach. I agree. But I don't believe that you can't teach an old dog new tricks. I think you can. So it's more about him buying in, believing in the young talent. You don't know where this Knicks team is going to be next season, if we're going to acquire a superstar or not. Or maybe RJ takes another step, Obi takes another step. Maybe Randall goes. They seem to believe that he can look more like 2021 Randall than he did this past season. Not expecting him to have that same level of production, but I do anticipate him being better. So why not, man? Tibbs is a great coach. He's a good coach. He's a good coach.
Okay.
He's not a below average because below average
He is.
is insulting.
First off, I want to say any NBA coach is great at what they do. And Tom Thibodeau has a specific template that can maximize the potential of a regular season team. You said he was a bad playoff coach. No, he is an awful playoff coach because you said you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Thibodeau's method, his practice to maximizing his team, often leads, especially with RJ Barrett, until his last season, where they basically his hand in the keys. He was not doing what was best for his young talent. Taking a step beyond that in the postseason killed his team because when Julius Randle was shooting 29% in that Atlanta series, I repeat, 29%, RJ Barrett's playing the same role as he did in the regular season as a spot up shooter. But what if he was actually able to utilize RJ as an on-ball player during the season? And so he was developed enough in that postseason run to give him some juice in the offensive end. I think Thibodeau is incredibly reliant on just talent on offense, and while defensively he can inspire his players to play at a high level there, if you're terrible in the postseason, I mean awful, and oftentimes you can't rebuild, you can't develop young talent at a high enough level at the same time. There are many young coaches that are more adaptive, they're highly innovative, and they're actually, in a way, willing to be molded into different types of coaches. I look at a Chauncey Billups. I feel like he can do multiple things in Portland if you want to win now, or at the same time rebuild. But Thibodeau, I don't think you can rebuild with him. I only think you can make the playoffs and basically go nowhere unless you're relying on an MVP caliber player in Derrick Rose.
Brandon,
Yeah.
Thibodeau's below average.
Nah, he's about
Average.
a little bit above average head coach.
I did this already. If I named you the head coaches, you wouldn't have him top 15.
Like if I would give him like a scale of 1 to 10, I would probably say he's like a 6.
There's a lot of really good coaches in the NBA.
That's not really good, John. A 5 is average. A 6 is slightly above average. 6.
When you compare it relative to the existing coaches in the league, Thibodeau is
Who's
20.
comparing? I'm not comparing him to any. He's not Eric Spoelstra. He's not Ty Lue. He's not.
But the average head coach is Frank Vogel. Frank Vogel is a championship-winning head coach.
What? Wait, who is his roster? Who is his roster, John? Answer the question.
Why did they win a championship? How? What was their identity?
LeBron James and Anthony Davis.
But their offense was the 11th best in the NBA that season. Their defense is what made them a championship caliber team.
Because AD was healthy.
Yeah, but how about all the wing players? It wasn't just AD. In order to have
we're going to give Frank Vogel the credit for that championship.
Are you serious? You're discounting the development of Alex Caruso?
I'm dead serious. Any team that's led by LeBron James, most times.
But did he get LeBron a buy-in defensively? Did he get the development of Alex Caruso, Taylor Horn-Tucker? This last season for Vogel was bad. but that was because the roster wasn't there to provide what he needed on the defensive end.
So what about Tibbs?
What about him? He tried to make Evan
Does
Fournier
he
into
have
Richard
the
Ball.
roster to provide him that talent?
Yeah, he had Evan Fournier, like I just said, try to use him as a 3-and-D wing. You don't do that.
You're trying to tell me if
He
Tom
can't be
Thibodeau
molded into
doesn't
it.
have, if Tom Thibodeau's the coach of those Lakers, they don't win the championship?
Question.
That's a good
I'm not
question.
sure. I've seen so many embarrassing playoff moments with him from the Houston series.
Did he have
and the
LeBron
Atlanta
James and
series.
Anthony Davis on the court? No,
No.
he didn't. What was Frank Vogel before them?
In Indiana, he was taking LeBron to 7 games. What do you mean was Frank Vogel before then?
Actually, right before, wasn't he working for ESPN? Didn't even have a job?
He was in Orlando. Yeah, on an Orlando team that was not good enough to make the playoffs, and he was trying to rebuild and at the same time retool. It's hard to do.
Wasn't
Bismack
Thibodeau the coach
Biyombo
of
is your
those
biggest
Chicago
addition.
Bulls that gave LeBron troubles too?
Derrick Rose got hurt. Why? Because he kept D Rose in the game too long.
All right, but nobody
Rents
brought
players in
that
the
up.
ground.
I just said, didn't they give them problems too?
Before Derrick Rose got hurt for 1 series.
Okay. You're trying to act like Frank. That was an idiotic statement, John. You know basketball, okay? You said Frank Vogel is one of the reasons that the Lakers won that championship. They could have won that championship with you coaching them, okay? Stop it.
Justin, you saw those Pacers teams humiliate your Knicks with Roy Hibbert. I give Frank Vogel a lot of credit for those years where they're winning almost 60 games with average rosters outside Paul George. It was nothing to write home.
Yeah, but that was when the East was weak.
But they almost beat LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh.
You know, the thing is, everybody craps on LeBron James's legacy because he played in the East, which was so weak outside of the top 3 teams. And even then, who came in?
It was nicknamed the Leastern Conference.
There we go. That's my point. So
because it was weak. Nobody was there. When Miami was on top, nobody was competing with them.
Indiana was. Okay. It took them to 7 games, and then the following season 6. If Paul George doesn't get hurt, they could have gone again.
Okay.
They didn't.
Yep.
I guess you weren't watching basketball those years.
No,
bro.
I watched it. Trust
okay.
me. I was a Miami Heat fan. I watched it. Question it. I was there. I watched it.
If you have one team that's competing, then your conference is pretty weak.
And I made a mistake. The Bulls did not challenge Miami. They lost in 5 games, so they really didn't. I made a mistake. We took them to 6, I think, the following season in 2012. No, that was 2013? No, they lost in 5 games again then. The Pacers were the only team challenging them. That was Frank Vogel. That was him getting the most out of the squad. So, yeah, I like Frank Vogel.
One series? That was that one series. And no one
took him to 6 the following season. The team started losing its key parts.
You just said that the Bulls take them to 6, and you discredited that.
It was 5 games. I was in 6.
No, but you said 6 after that. The year after, you said they took them to 6 the year after, and you discredited
No, the year
that.
after Derrick Rose got hurt in the Philadelphia series, and they never got past 5 games in the playoffs with Tom Thibodeau until 2015.
I'm just saying what you said. You said they took them 5 games, and then you said the next season the Bulls took them 6 games. Those are the words that came out of your mouth. So then,
no,
if you listen to what I said, I corrected myself.
I apologize. I misheard you.
But all in all, I think below average is rough, man. That's a pretty low statement.
I don't even think that's the
biggest. That speaks to how good the coaches are in the game.
I don't even.
But the thing is, it's just also what is he working with? Where's the star? Where's the savior that's getting you over the hill? If you can name me all these teams, and I can probably name you a star that they have to get them over the hump. The Knicks don't have that. The Knicks are trying to find that, trying to grow that.
Justin,
I'm with you. Justin. There's so many. What's up?
He can't say he can't if he says that the Lakers would have lost that championship if they had Thibs as the head coach. His basketball card is getting revoked. You're done. You don't know crap about basketball if you say that. So he can't say that. So then he's basically saying you were wrong when you said Frank Vogel was a key contributor to those Lakers runs. I'm sorry. Isn't Thibodeau known for his defense too?
One of the 5 best defensive coaches.
Okay.
Sure.
So then again, I ask you, if Thibs was the head coach of those Los Angeles Lakers, that Los Angeles Lakers team, would they have still won the championship?
We'll never know. I think so, but he's been a terrible playoff coach, and you can't deny that. That's why I
feel like Cam Newton right now. He doesn't want to answer the direct question because he's admitting he's wrong. You want to say, we'll never know, and then you want to say, I think so. If you don't think so, have the courage of your conviction and say, no, they wouldn't. Or say they would because you know they would because you know basketball, John.
Why am
Nobody's
I gonna?
questioning your basketball knowledge. You know it. So you
Okay,
know they would have won.
so to basically agree with you, you want me to hypothetically predict that a terrible playoff coach would just work somewhere because Anthony Davis and LeBron James are there. There's player relationships, there's management skills, there's stuff that it's a lot more than just being a great defensive coach. I don't know if Tom Thibodeau would be the proper fit with that Laker team.
LeBron would have taken David Blatt to the NBA Finals.
Didn't he? Or he got replaced by Ty Lue by then.
Yeah, I think he got.
Wasn't the first year they had David Blatt, right? But they lost.
No, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so he did. Like, what are we talking about?
You're right.
LeBron James is. I won't say never. Eric Spoelstra wasn't Eric Spoelstra of now back then. Like, come on, man. Really? Like, who was their head coach when he took Cleveland to the finals the first time?
Mike Brown was another very good defensive coach. I think Tom Thibodeau is on that Mike Brown level. So,
well, if you're saying he's a good defensive coach, if you're going to tell me that Tom Thibodeau would have broke up a LeBron James led team, you're smoking crack.